So when dealing with proportional relationships, you always are going to have your equation, which is either y equals kx, which stands for your constant, is also known as your slope or your unit rate. Or you might see it as y equals mx, which we know m is always our slope. So that's what we're always trying to find. Our slope is always our y over x. So whatever our dependent variable is, which is our y, and our independent variable, which is our x. So it's always y over x, no matter what. So this first equation we're going to read, so it says the cost y in dollars for x gigabytes of data on an internet plan is represented by y equals 10x. Graph the equation and interpret the slope. So I always write at the top what my values are. So my x value is for the gigabytes, and my y value is the cost. So it's going to be money over my gigabytes, because I know it's always y over x to find my slope. So in this case, I have y equals 10x. So to interpret, that means to explain the slope, you have to explain if we have y equals 10x, our 10 is our slope, which is really saying it's 10 over 1. Now that means that every 10, it's going to cost $10 for 1 gigabyte. Now, to figure out what our other values are, you would want to always start at the origin, so you know 0 gigabytes are going to cost $0. So I can always make a table to show my information. I know that 1 gigabyte, which would be $10, because 10 times 1 is going to give me 10. So I can mark my chart. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I have 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. I know that because my slope is going up 10 over 1. So my second one, if I had 2 gigabytes, 2 times 10 would be 20. If I had 3 gigabytes, 3 times 10 would be 30. If I had 4 gigabytes, I would have 40. If I had 5 gigabytes, I would have 50. So I want to plot my graph. So I have $10 would cost me for 1 gigabyte. 2 gigabytes is $20. 3 is 30. 4 is 40. 5 is 50. So I would draw my line, and this is representing a proportional relationship. So I want to make sure that I put gigabytes at the bottom and money, or a cost. Now this next one says the cost y in dollars to rent X video games is represented by y equals 4x. Graph the equation and interpret the slope. Well, if I know my equation is y equals 4x, my slope is always that 4. Now, slope is always written as y over x, so I'm going to figure out what my y is and what my x is. So looking at my equation, the cost in dollars, so we know that money over to rent X video games. So to rent video games is on the bottom. So if I have y equals 4x, that would mean that it would cost $4 to rent 1 video game. So if I were to make a table, I would know that 0 video games would cost $0. 1 video game, so 1 times 4 is going to cost me $4. 2 video games, 4 times 2 is going to cost me $8. 3 video games is going to be 4 times 3, which is 12. 4 video games is going to be 4 times 4, which is 16. So I can make my table. At 0, 0, I have my cost or my money on the side. I have my renting video games on my x-axis. So it would cost one rental would be $4. Two rentals would be $8. Three rentals would be $12. Four rentals would be $16. I would draw my line, and that would be my proportional relationship.